Morning, guys and girls and others. It's Jacob with the Daily Shortcut. Running a little bit late. It's kind of sad this morning. Chris Cornell died, so, for anybody who was a Soundgarden fan, Audio Slave fan, Temple of the Dog fan, and Rock Legend fan, somebody awesome died. So, I was feeling a little sad. He's somebody that I really look up to and whose music I connected with. That's what's playing. It was kind of interesting too this morning, my mentoring session that came through. Some of these things, people can say it's unrelated, but for me, it's all related. It's my life, right? And I think that if we're willing to look at things with a very open mind, we can see how everything really connects. And anyway, that's just something that I notice as somebody that does divination anyway. Even when I throw cards on the same 2-3 cards, I can probably read anybody, just because it's the energy in the air, and it's not just reading cards, it's learning to interpret what's in the air that we're all dealing with at the same time, even if our lens of perspective is different. And anyway, I digress on that. That'll be for another time. But this morning, my mentor hit us up with, a coaching that's really about how we treat people. And this one was really, it struck me because of what happened with Chris. They were suspecting it was a suicide. And I don't know if you've ever lost anybody in your life, especially to suicide, but I've known an exceptionally high number of people that have actually chosen to take their own lives. It's just been the path that I've been on. Actually, the school that I went to in Texas was kind of known as Suicide High. And a couple of my best friends have actually literally shot themselves. And kind of makes you wonder what they were putting in the water, right? In places like that where it just erupts. So anyway, not to fixate on that, but anytime it's like a suicide thing, it's really very close to my heart. I'm actually somebody who was contemplating suicide at one point, and some of you all know that it wouldn't have taken much to kill me at one point, because I actually technically died. But, when you're dealing with disease too, and you have people that are treating you unkindly, and like your value is just not there as a human, sometimes people just get eroded to a point where they literally give up. And so, I was more taking the message along that level, and also just on a personal level, because of how it affects my business and my life and impacts me. So I'm going to share a little bit more about that. But first, I'm just going to tell you, I linked his original video. Of course, I always link my mentoring videos below for anybody that might be interested in taking a closer look at that. But basically, he called today's session, "It's not a numbers game, it's a people business." And he was actually relating this to network marketing, and I've been doing some form of network marketing since 1997. So, it's always been a part of my incomes, whether or not I actually had a quote-unquote job at a time or not, just because I always felt like it was wise for me to have additional means to take care of myself. And I still do that. I have my own business that I run, thank God, because if I was relying on the abysmal hits that I get here on YouTube, I get no love on this algorithm. Some people get a lot of help with YouTube. I've heard from some people that, YouTube has been extremely good to them with their channels. I think, I don't want to say they've been bad to me, but they've kind of sucked for me, honestly. Sorry, YouTube, but I'm not sorry. You've been absolute, horrible with, ranking me at all and stuff. I know people that have had channels a lot less long than me that get a lot more algorithm love and views because of how, their content is being marketed through YouTube channels. And honestly, I'm kind of happy that it hasn't happened to me, because all I hear from people, even that are in my peer group, that are lots of tarot readers and people that do divination and like loving work, sometimes for free for people, weekly putting readings out, doing free readings and stuff. They have tons and tons of subscribers. It's like some of them have absolutely no life because they can't even keep up with the free readings, and it's like YouTube's not really crediting them. They're actually taking their ad revenue. And so honestly, I'm probably not going to be on YouTube that much longer. I'm just letting you all know that. I've been working on some other platforms that are just far better for me to be able to share my spirit work in a way where it's actually reaching the right audience in a larger sense that makes it better for, really what I'm intending to do with it. And here's the thing with me, my divination and stuff is not my technical quote-unquote business. And thank God, I wouldn't be able to feed myself. I mean, I don't know how some of the people even that have, 20, 30,000 subscribers, that I see them doing their readings that are just getting hit. I talk to a lot of them, some of them are my friends, so hi. But, I guess, where I'm going with this is that people are not freaking numbers. And even if you have the numbers and that's like where your focus is just on the numbers and like putting out content, like in that kind of way, it's just never going to prosper because people don't like being treated that way. And this morning, it really impacted me a lot too, just as somebody that I'm a musician. I went to college for music. The only reason why I got into business is because I was having the shit kicked out of me by my life and by my family and people around me telling me what I couldn't do and making me feel like, my dreams couldn't come true. And so honestly, I didn't think that I had a career as the next Kenny G. I'm a sax player. I play saxophone. I gave up on my big dream, as a musician. Gave up, I say. At the time, because I didn't have the confidence. And see, my throat chakra even starts getting affected when I start talking about it. Like, takes my voice. And so I can just tell you, just as somebody that's a musician and somebody that's a sensitive person, and just feeling into the space, like today, since hearing about, Chris Cornell and so many others that have recently died in the music industry, are legends, people that gave us anthems that helped awkward people like me get through difficult times in our life where we almost gave up. And what I hear a lot, they're sick and tired of feeling like the numbers too. Look at a lot of these artists. It's like they're not making money anymore unless they're constantly touring because of how the music industry has changed and how people are being commoditized. And so for me, I just have to tell you, it's where I get kind of pissed off. I was kind of upset this morning. I woke up and I felt great. And what happens to me as a psychic intuitive, as a channel, as a medium, is probably very extreme compared to what other people are used to experiencing in their bodies. And for somebody that's as sensitive as me, we can feel collective energy moving through us. And there was like a lot of rage and upset. And you know what? It just gave me a whole new lens on all of the readings that I've even done this week, where I can actually go back and see how this has been building and escalating. And I think it's definitely, for anybody that follows astrology, some of the things that are in the cosmic weather right now are really forcing us to start to move through some of this. It's in our face a lot, especially in, the media. And if you pay attention to what's going on politically here in the United States, it's clearly we're dealing with an environment that is filled with people that have been traumatized on some level because of all of how this has affected us and how we have been, I just say, commoditized as human beings. It's like the focus has been way off. The emphasis of our value in what another person is, means, does, it's just so shifted that it's like people can't work enough sometimes to even keep up. And if they're not working, then what? Are they worthless? Do they have no value? I don't know. I don't know how people really, register that in their own minds, but I think that that's how we've been groomed by how we've been taught to feel. And because that's how we've been treated, it just gets perpetuated, and people don't even realize, since that's like now the program in the computer, that that's just how they act onto others. And so, I'm not saying everybody's like this, but it's a big issue. And, for me, just somebody that's in a home-based business, I'll just tell you, I hear it all the time. People are like, oh, it's just a numbers game, and you need to, do this, that, and the other, and just, recruit everybody because, you need thousands of people, everybody has to buy something. And it's just such a shitty way to look at others that it's honestly, it's really polarizing for me. I don't think that people like being treated that way. And back on the music thing, I think that a lot of artists get very frustrated with, how these stations and, the media wants to puppet them and also control their art. A lot of times things get edited, just so people can get radio play or whatever, and people get depressed. Look how many of these artists actually take their own lives. And sometimes it's because they've just been depressed for different reasons, not to mention the pharmaceutical industry that literally creates poisonous traps for them. And I don't want to make it all about me, but that's one reason why I don't take pharmaceutical, painkillers. Sometimes I wake up with a pain sandwich for breakfast after losing ribs and, things from cancer and what I deal with on a daily basis. And I just got to tell you, as somebody that's been through all of that, my hackles just get up. If somebody starts treating me like a number, I just kind of tune out, it just tunes me out. And so I feel like as I'm watching this winter storm warning, they're actually calling it a winter storm warning here in the middle of spring in Denver, Colorado today, that it's time for us all to have a massive cosmic baptism in a new way of being with each other. I think, I'm a resource-based economies guy. I'm into things like cryptocurrencies and solutions that will put an end to poverty and the commoditization of the human psyche and spirit. And I think that, today I'm just going to challenge anybody that's watching this video to take a different lens on your life. Pay attention to the things that aren't being said to you, but that you're feeling, that pull on your energy and drag you one way or the other, and just check in and see if it feels good. And, check in and see if you're being treated like a valuable being, because that's what we are. We're beings. And just to simplify it, a being is not a doing. And if your intrinsic value in the life that you're living right now is only a reflection of what you do, darling, your value as a being is just not being honored. And if that's the case, there's a little bit of reason for rage. You might want to listen to this song. It's called Gasoline. And this is Audio Slave right now. And I'm just going to say rest in peace, Chris Cornell. And I'm going to leave you all on that. If anybody's interested in exploring this topic anymore, I'm going to link something else below from my mentor. Feel free to hit me up too if you're just sick of not having your needs met in different ways. Because you don't have to work so hard. There's some smart things. And I'm offering free 30-minute consults to anybody who puts their name in the form on my capture page with a phone number. I will call you and you can tell me what it is that you're trying to do, and I'd love to hear that. And if there's a way to help you bridge a gap where you can actually create more intrinsic value that's a better reflection of your being, exactly who you are right now, I'd love to do that. So take care, God bless. I'm going to light some sage and get started on this down and dirty daily. All right, bye for now.